when I was a young man, I grew up in Dallas, and one of the privileges of growing up in Dallas was that you got a day off from school in October to go to the State Fair of Texas. But one year, I think I was about 10 years old, I kind of got off the beaten path. I went off what I believe was called the Midway, got away from the rides and was just walking around to see what else was at the State Fair. And there was a small museum there, and it had a little planetarium. And I went into that, and I was just captivated. I actually enjoyed that more than riding the rides and everything. And so that kind of sparked my interest. And ever since then, I've held museums in high esteem because that's what got me on my trajectory to do all I could to educate myself about the world and things like that.
I have always liked science. I have an engineering background, even though I'm in finance now, but growing up in New York, always used to get on the train and go down to the Hayden Planetarium and the Historical Museum and the Museum of Natural History. And so I think those of us who have a degree of success, it's important for them to be able to get involved in the community and get back in the community, and I thought this would be a good channel of my energies, if you will.
I'm a fan of STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, you see. The knowledge and the practice of STEM are extremely important to any country. More people in the field, more capable people, then more prosperous the country and more safe the country is. I think the museums, like IMAS, which is an art and science museum, have a very key role in educating the general public and the youngsters. In 2001, the IMAS expanded, and part of the expansion was the Discovery Pavilion. The Discovery Pavilion was devoted to science exhibits and programs for young children. And that attracted me, and so hopefully we can enthuse some kid at the museum, and he becomes in future Einstein, or maybe Bill Gates, who knows.
I think the year was 2000, and some time ago, and I served on the board of IMAS for right around 12 years. And then I took about a 3-year hiatus and was involved with other boards, but now I'm back with the board.
Well, this was back in 2002, and actually I've been a member of the IMAS for the last about 30 years almost. I was visiting the museum, and I met Hughes.
I started in the museum right around 2000. A friend of mine was president at that time, and he was looking to expand the board and get people with some financial background. So I started right when we were completing, the museum had just completed a capital campaign to build this wing. So I was involved in the construction of this wing and worked on the board, I think, with 1 year off all the way from 2000 to 2015.
He was a board member at that time, and he was an officer. And then he asked me whether I would be interested to join the museum. And I said, I'll be very happy to. So he recruited me to be a board member, you see. That was in 2002.
My favorite exhibit, and I believe that it is the most popular exhibit IMAS has ever had, is Science on a Sphere.
My favorite exhibit today is SOS, Science on a Sphere, you see.
The way that came about is Bill Ranganath, Artie Hughes, and myself, we became aware of it through Time magazine. We saw a story about it, and we looked at it, and then we investigated a little more, and we saw the tremendous educational capability that this exhibit would have.
John Gerling was the head of the board at that time. And John's board members, we all got together and acquired the SOS.
And so we made a decision right then that we were going to bring Science on a Sphere, what we call SOS, to IMAS. At one point, we just had to say, you know, we're going to make it happen. We're going to find the money somehow if we had to write the checks ourselves. And so we brought IMAS SOS, and it's still going on to this day, and is just a wonderful, wonderful educational exhibit.
And I think it's one of the best exhibits in South Texas.
And obviously, what's behind us, I think, is an incredible thing. SOS has somebody who helped contribute to get it here. I think it's a great thing to have, and I love the utilization of it. My favorite thing here is still the sound wall. I mean, I'm always irritated when the sound wall is down and not up and running. Every time I go by it, I got to touch that thing. I get a big kick out of that. Having been involved in the visionary museum event, which was Tim Smith and Carter Huber's vision to mirror art, science, and a little bit of fun. Having been co-chair and chair for multiple years and seeing that event, if you will, grow from its infancy to become probably one of the bigger social events on the calendar here in McAllen every year is pretty exciting, if you will.
Well, I hear there is a fairly good chance that we may be able to bring a fairly large screen 3D theater that would show educational programming. And people are so visual nowadays, and young people in particular love 3D. I think that it would go a long way toward providing a follow-on educational exhibit for Science on a Sphere that would deal with a little bit different subject matter, but would be just as much fun to keep the young people just enthralled and enraptured in the educational content.
I'd like to see a broadening out of community involvement, people getting involved in the success of the museum, because museums obviously are part of the culture of a community, and see the science part grow and expand and provide a resource for youth in the community to instill them to look for things outside of traditional degrees in education as they move forward. Maybe, you know, have the wonder and excitement to get involved in engineering and or other kinds of things that would make their life, you know, a heck of a lot better.
Next 5 years, I would like it to grow and maybe more exhibitions. The present president of the IMAS, Julie Johnson, and her staff and the board, they're all extremely capable, and they can probably help this to grow and improve over 5 years. There's only one limiting factor: money. So I think though Julie has been able to raise a lot of funds since she came on board, though the McAllen City has been supporting us all these years very generously, though the community has been helping us, we still need some more funds. This is where we all come in, okay? Now, I request all the attendants of Collage to stay for the open, auction after dinner, you see. And then there are very beautiful offerings by the museum. Bid big, super big. Spend some money, okay? And also, when you go home, talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to your company, talk to your contacts, and see whether we can all pitch in, raise more funds to the museum, and then so they can grow and improve. Not really, not very clean ones. No. You can really edit it, you see. Here's the last question. Before I leave, I would like to make a comment, okay? I would like to thank IMAS for naming me as an honoree, you see. And I'm grateful and I'm humbled, okay? And I would like to congratulate my co-honorees, John Gerling and R.D. Hughes for their contribution to the museum and for the community as a whole. And I would like to thank all the attendants at the Collage for being there, and let's spend some money.
I am very much appreciative to be honored in this way. I'm always one that always liked to be behind the scenes, but the two other people who are being honored this night, I have great respect for. John Gerling, I've known as both a friend and a peer over the years. He's a great visionary, and so I know he's back on the board now, and I know good things are going to happen there. And Bill, Gentleman Bill. Bill is, Raganeth is just somebody that when we served on the board a long time together, I could always count on Bill and his consistency, because I might have been the little emotional hothead on the board and reacted to things, and I could always count on board Bill to bring things down to a sense of dignity and class. He always operated that way, so I'm very honored to be in their company tonight.